session with the presentation of those who have received a grant. And first of all, we will hear Mr. Renato Botti. These are the two winners of the mobile apps from Aula Olivas and Kenneth Russo, both winners of the video mapping processes, Malko Volkovic and Jan-Loic Ledberg. One thing, when we conclude the presentation at 5:30, we will leave together to do a mobile app demonstration. And tonight at 9:30, we will start projections of video mappings at Casa Pastors. So let's begin.
No problem. I don't speak Italian.
Ah, ça marche. Très désagréable ce micro, hein.
Okay, it works? Mm-hmm. Okay, do you want to start? Okay, so welcome everybody. So it's really my pleasure as responsible for the IM for the JTS to welcome you. So first of all, congratulations, because, well, you are a winner of a very tough competition, as they told me from the project side. So it's very promising what you have done. Just to put maybe in the framework for the people that are today here, that you have been awarded of a sub grant, let's say, so some money to launch you have participated to a call for idea and for this festival, and this is a part of the IM project actually. So in Lebanon as well, there were a festival and some other. I would like to call you some new entrepreneur participated as well. You have participated to this competition for Girona, and your app I didn't see yet, but I know that you will present now, introduce to the audience what you have done and how your app are useful, and there, let's say, a demonstration on how to use the augmented reality and mobile app to valorize the site here in Girona. I don't know yet. I will see what you have done. I know as well that the Generalidad of Catalonia, it's a start, let's say, of a collaboration maybe in the future. Who knows? For the people that are here today, other youngest as you are, maybe they are interested to participate to other calls for ideas. You should know that in the framework of the IM project, there will be a next call for Alghero Festival. So if you have ideas, you will be very welcome to participate. And as last reminder that I will pass on is that there is, after the session, a practical session with the other partners where you can enjoy and see other app and video mapping and other augmented reality technologies that are developed by other partners. So I invite you to take advantage of the room and to see the demonstration. And I believe also your contribution here is very practical, so it's very important that you have done this in the afternoon, because in the morning we have seen a lot of theory, very interesting, about how to use augmented reality to enhance the visitor experience, but also how to use gamification as well to make it more personalized as experience as well. So I believe that your presentation will be very valuable, because we will be happy to see so concrete examples, and also coming from you that you're super young, to see your app. So congratulations again. Voilà, so I leave you the floor to you, to your presentation.
You start.
Molt bona tarda.
Good afternoon. My name is Kenneth Russo. Good afternoon. My name is Kenneth Russo. First of all, I would like to thank all the participants, and I would like to congratulate the winners, because this is where the rubber hits the road, and now it's time to share all these applications or projects. I will try to be brief. GIRONOW is my proposal. The proposal that I have implemented has got a foundation, i.e., what platform can we use in order to do augmented reality, and what do I understand as augmented reality? Not me personally, but rather, what is augmented reality? Is it overlapping information on reality? Okay, let's try to extend this idea, this process, and see how we can apply it. There's the technical part of it, how to turn these ideas into realities and see in what devices it can run. And then there would be a second part, i.e. content. And I am explaining this before I start presenting GIRONOW, so that we can make a difference between the content understood as augmented reality and the platform where this augmented reality is seen. And then we will see if contents have a certain life cycle, or if they are going to be maintained over time. In order to explain this, I think the most interesting part would be to see the app in itself. You can download it from the iTunes Store, or from Google Play rather, and you simply need to write down GIRONOW. We will try this in a minute to make sure it does it correctly. That's perfect. And we will see how this works. In principle, this is the interface of GIRONOW. First comments, the first things I thought. How can we play with augmented reality? I thought it would be a good idea to play with content, such as a historical map. Imagine I want to be at a given point of time and space. What happened in the same point in 1900 or 1920 or 1930, whatsoever. After having made a prior selection, it would be interesting to have documents that you could pull or query from somewhere. In this case, is the Center for Image Dissemination from Girona. And then I also decided that we could have some interactive points. This would be interaction with the heritage, interaction in a playful, leisure way, so that visitors, cultural visitors, as we think they are, would go to the places so that they can interact there. So if behind each stone there is a layer of culture, that would be fantastic. But in any case, so the interesting thing is having the person going from one place to the other. And we also thought about what contents we should use, or what media we should use, because we could include here video clips, videos that were filmed in the early part of the last century and which have been recovered. So we would have image. That would be a simple way to show one kind of reality on top of the current reality. And then we also have audio documents. So it's interesting to see that the app by itself is not a closed app, i.e. we see that there are constant updates, or regular updates rather, And what's important is that if you are internet users, which is rather common, I guess that you probably start identifying. For instance, when you wonder what computer should I buy, I'm not talking about brands because probably you have seen a few very clearly defined ones. But if you need to find information on the internet, what portal do you go to? Do you go to a portal called, to a website called Google? And if you need to find information, yes. If you don't go to Google, where would you go? Are there any others? Yes, of course. It works well, but if I use Google, there will be terms and conditions that I will have had to approve before. All of this is happening at the same time, and we could talk about Google and the idea of 2.0, quantity versus quality, talk about Facebook and the like. But when we talk about augmented reality, what browsers can support augmented reality? Because when we browse, if we have Firefox, so we have certain performance, and if we have Internet Explorer, we have a different one. If we have a certificate and we need to install something, okay, fine. If Flash, you can't see it with this or that. Each tool we use involves a certain philosophy and a certain terms and conditions of use. So for augmented reality, we also have certain browsers which allow for a number of limited actions, which in a way could also be seen as tools which expand augmented reality and could be used as layers, as visors. I thought it would be better to have an independent platform. And that means that we're not linked to any specific platform. For instance, here I'm being told that I am 128 meters away from point number 30. Location number 30. So we're here in this little dot over there, and we can zoom in and zoom out. And what can I see in the surroundings? Here, let me explain how this app works. There are certain contents which can only be seen if we go to the specific place. If we want to listen to the inauguration speech of the Culture House, we need to go to that place specifically. If we go, for instance, to the San Narcís area, where you see this icon here, this icon is showing us what the construction of San Narcís district was between the 1950s and the 1960s. But we can only see that, we can only see the image if we go to that place. The same thing goes for instance, video archives which are uploaded. For instance, for these days, we would see the floods in the 1960s. If we go to this point, which will be one of the ones we will visit later when we go out, you can watch that video clip, but you can only see it if you're on site. What happens on the other locations? Can you have information? For instance, yes, Corpus, the procession, the wine square. I don't need to go to the specific location, but rather I can receive the information in advance. However, if I walk around that area, this information will flash on the screen. So there's some information that you will only see while you are on one specific place, and other information is openly available. I was also interested in augmented reality and the 3D, i.e. the more luring part, the visual part, what can offer more of a marketing vision in terms of product. But for instance, here, let me show an example. This is Uña River. This is telling me that if you go there and if you focus your camera on this image, you will see a scene which will take place here. I will open up the camera option, and using this library, as we can't now go to that location, but sorry. For instance, can you see that? These are objects, and when I touch on them, some of them have movement. But look at this. It identifies something that we can use at any time. What's the pros? What are the pros and the cons? If these were cards, a game of cards with augmented reality, not to mention other things which are being promoted at the moment, this would be ideal. However, as this identifies contrasts, I'm not saying that it will work only once a year with that kind of light, but almost. What's interesting here is that some of these situations, some of these places and locations only work when the exact lighting is there. That's the poetry of it. But apart from the poetry, I thought it would be interesting to see other kinds of contents. That's why I have this content in here. And it says, click here for a better experience. And here we're trying to position 3D objects using geopositioning. However, geopositioning has a lot to do with the 3G triangulation or your GPS, your device's GPS. So it's not as accurate as image recognition. However, this gentleman, which was here between the two sides of the Oñar River, will probably move slightly to the right or to the left, and then it won't be so fun. I would like to show you other places. Here I brought some cards, and these cards are all locations, some sites for an interactive Girona tour. So you could go to the application, you could print them, and you could see what happens there. And that's the more playful side of this app. What I would like to mention is that this app is a starting point where you can add content. It's a starting point to see what possibilities can offer better results. And it's also a good starting point in order to clean up this idea of augmented reality based on a given heritage, a given circumstance, and a given cross-cutting culture. I think I tend to speak too much, so let me shut up and give up my explanations about GIRONOW. When we're out, if you want, we can test it. Thank you very much for your attention.
Vale, continuarem, doncs.
Let's move on. I would like to present Era Girona. First of all, let me thank this project for having given me the opportunity to do this. These have been extremely interesting months. I would also like to thank the Catalan government for having allowed me to develop this app and for helping me with this months of experience. Let me show a video clip that will explain how Era Girona works.
Era Girona és una aplicació de realitat.
Era Girona is an augmented reality app which allows us to discover Girona's heritage through old photographs located in different sites of the city. The user can download the Layer platform on its tablet or mobile device. And then if you go to GeoLayers, you can find the different historical layers. It will find the closest places where you can check an old photograph. It deploys the photographs so that you can verify information associated to it. If you select Take Me There, it will show you how to get to the closest point on the map. The app shows Girona during the first half of the 20th century, and it allows users to zoom in to the Girona of the past. come to this website and visit us on the social media. I think it's more or less clear how this augmented reality app works. And it enhances cultural heritage thanks to the two old photographs. I'll tell you how it was done. During these 3 months where we had a subsidy, we worked on developing this app with 57 locations. They come from the Center for the Dissemination of Images in Girona. We've used a number of selection criteria to choose from this, maybe for monument or architectural reasons, or because they showed very accurately social life in Girona, or because they showed the natural heritage. There are also some photographs which have to do with our cultural traditions. We can walk around and see the images on site in place. We used LiDAR. Why did we use LiDAR, you might wonder? We had some pros and cons for that choice. LiDAR was useful because we had this 3 months of time to develop the whole program, and we had a given amount of funding. And LiDAR is a platform that you might know about. It's one of the most widely used augmented reality platforms. So it was easy to develop this, but there is a con to it. It is rather constrained, so we had to work within the limitations and constraints that LiDAR poses. It is very user-friendly, and you will see that users, and you can see that when you test it outside on the street, users are able to go about the application very easily. They learn how to use it very quickly. As product exploitation, we're trying to get together after these 3 months of project and to take stock of what we have done so far, to see what it can offer to the project. We've talked to the city council. It might be integrated into some of the apps that they have here for the city, such as Girona In, and well, basically that's what we have done. We've done this work, we have the know-how to develop this project, and maybe we could also apply it to other towns, or to just develop it a bit further and continue enhancing the tool. Let me conclude by saying that this is the stage we're at, and as I was supposed to be very brief, we would like to invite you to test the application later. If you want to follow us on the social media, that's where you can find us, and basically that's it. At 5:30 we can go out and test it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna just try to connect. Yeah, please, thank you. Almost, but I'll try to disconnect it. I don't know if it will be. Yeah, if you can try it, perfect. Thank you. Great. Hello, thank you. My name is Mark Bokovic. First of all, I would like to thank to this project that we had an opportunity to do this 3D mapping. Also, I'm really interested in trying these applications right after we finish this. I can wait for the augmented reality to try. Since we did in 3D mapping, I'm not going to talk too much about it, because the way we did it as a group, we mostly tried always to do a mapping that will try to express some feelings to the people. So the best way to feel the mapping is just to watch it, not to explain it too much. So I'm going to talk about the festival Visualia. I'm the director of festival in Pula, Croatia, and what I'm going to talk about is there's much similarities between Girona and Pula in this way of 3D mapping and new technologies. So we started the festival last year, and the point of festival is 3D mapping, light design, and new technologies. So In these 2 years, we kind of encouraged and lectured, let's say, the audience to know the new technologies, the 3D mappings, and now we have really a lot of audience. Last year we had, actually this year, 2014, we had 12,000 people at the festival, and I must say Pula is a small city, it has only 60,000 inhabitants. So for us that is really something new, and we are really happy that we could bring this kind of new technologies to our city, similar to Girona. Also we had a lot of heritage, like the amphitheater, a lot of Roman heritage and cultural things. So together with the Archaeological Museum and Tourism Office of Pula, we brought this festival to some new level. So basically what we did, as you can see it, I hope you can see it, yeah, we used our buildings to try to build really powerful 3D mappings, the graphical ones that are really strong with the effects. We tried to, in a way, explain and to show what are the possibilities of 3D mapping, what is the real situation when you can really transform the building, to break it, to change it, to get some personality of that building and maybe change the history of it. So we actually did 4 of them in the last 2 years. And this is also a picture from the last year festival. We also tried to put the audience together. Inside of the festival we gave away 5,000 little lamps for the audience, and we shut down the whole street light in the center, so the whole city was in the dark. The people were the one who actually designed the festival, because they light the city with the little lamps, so it was quite interesting. And we also had a different kind of exhibitions where we brought, this is the example of French company AMCB, which are doing a really interesting interactive installations with Kenneth and different kind of new technologies. Also what we did last year was opening of our, let's say, biggest tourism attraction, and we can also say cultural, are the lighting giants. Lighting giants are lighted shipyard cranes. It's 8 of them, they're 100 meters high, and basically it's the only one in the world lighted industrial cranes that are still working. So during the day they're normally working and repairing ships, and during the night they have a light show with music and different combinations. From this year we'll try to even build it up and try to do interactive installations, so the people will be able to play the cranes by themselves with a Kenneth. So just pointing out to the cranes, they will start to playing music and changing the lights on the cranes, as you can see them. So, and basically now I would like to continue to talking about the mapping that we are doing for Casa Pastors. When we got this invitation and when we were chosen to do it, we were really excited. And our small team talked about it, what to do here. So basically we decided, after some talking, to trying to bring our specific design, let's say it like that, to this building, to live it up. And as you will see it tonight, a lot of things inside has been drawn by hand. So there were illustrations made by our illustrator Anja Ladavac. So she draw everything, and then we put all of the materials inside Cinema 4D, transform it and make it alive. And we also got a picture of the building. So first we took it out and built it all in 3D, so that we have more possibilities to play with the building and to make it alive. As you can see it here, so this one was built from the ground up. And after that, as I said, we built, these are the illustrations that were made by hand, were transferred into Cinema 4D. And after that, of course, we started to play with the building and making it alive as much as possible. And of course, since the music is an important part of this kind of 3D mapping, we tried to, we always do our own music, so the authorical part, with the effects and everything to make the feeling much more stronger. And basically that's it. I really hope you will enjoy it tonight at our presentation. Thank you.
Thanks.
You're gonna need the...
Anything?
Hello, I'm really happy to be here for the second time because we came before with Amanda because we have written this project together. She will explain later our work together. So we came first time here to prepare and to meet some citizens from Girona because we made a particular proposal, video mapping proposal, that could be a mix between mapping technology and, let's say, documentary film type of writing. So it's a mix between these two things. So we came here to meet some people here to... The idea wasn't to make a big video mapping show, historical show, but to get some stories from citizens to rebuild the history of the city, nowadays, the history through memories of people, some details of life, and to rebuild history like this, and not to make big historical show. We didn't want this. So maybe Amanda can talk about... I can present myself. So I'm French video maker. I work not like a freelance because in France we have a particular statute that permits to artists to live differently. And that permit me to work with different companies. And that gave me the chance to work and create video mappings on heritage and historical buildings like Le Pont du Gard, like Versailles Castle. But there were big events with fireworks and everything like this. And here we wanted to make something more sensitive. Okay, and so now here Amanda.
Hola, yo me llamo Amanda.
Hello, my name is Amanda. I think that Jean-Loic probably started at the end of the whole story. What we've tried to do with this grant is to challenge something that we can't often afford. Our professional worlds don't usually allow for this experience, i.e. bringing together two artistic paths, two artistic disciplines which are usually far apart. He works in very large format video mapping projects with a large number of spectators and with great pressure and expectations by those who commission these works. I work, however, in small territorial processes. So we work on a given physical space in a location, but especially with the people who work there and their mores and habits and uses, and we discuss the memory of the place. And I thought it was a great challenge, and I thought it was really attractive, although I'm not sure whether we have achieved that. I thought it was attractive that to think that the danger of new technologies in tourism development would be to forget about the locals, those who live in those cities that we showcase so keenly to tourists. And this exhibition of the city, this presentation of the city, can be done in a kinder way. And we could, change the word. Instead of showcasing a city, we could share the city between inhabitants and tourists. That means turning that person into the subject of what we are showing, why we're showing it, and how we're showing it. And Jan Loic and myself drafted this project with this subsidy, because that's what subsidies are for, that's what grants are for, to test new grounds, to test new projects. And we have approached new technologies, bringing together new technologies and heritage sites to try and approach cities and to show cities in a more, in a more intimate way, something that is, yes, more intimate. And Stones will talk about collective memory and intangible assets. Collective memory is made up of individual memories, and we have selected memories which a number of inhabitants have shared with us. Very diverse people of different ages, and we've chosen memories which were, well, nobody talks about the times at the war when he or she saw 20 people being killed. Rather, we are looking for the infra-history, that small history, so that, for instance, tourists can identify with the cities by finding out those things that remain at the sidelines of history, the little story of a child, the little story of a family, and so on, things which we believe that new technology should not do away with. I'm a great fan, I'm a great lover of new technologies, but we need to be very aware of the things which can remain on the sidelines, can be left out of these new developments. We should not only be fascinated by technology and techniques, but rather we should fill technology with content which would be ethically inspiring, let me say that way, or which would respond to a human commitment. Some of you speak Catalan, I know. Some of you do not speak Catalan. We are going to watch a video clip lasting around 20 minutes, and the presence of language is very important there. This is another challenge, yet another challenge. We have discussed thoroughly about this, and I don't know if spectators will experience what I would like to advocate for. I'm not sure. Nowadays, language tends to be a handicap because people think that spectators will not understand. But I think language goes beyond communication. For video mapping, the most powerful part is the image. And I believe that language is also a matter. Language is a matter, and it belongs to the location, to the place it comes from, and it's part of what can be shown and shared with tourists as well. So, with a mix with music, there's a whole set of things, there's a whole experience, and it's not so important to see if you understand everything or not. If you spend a few days in Girona, you're going to be hearing or overhearing these rumors in Catalan. If you spend some days in Montpellier, you will of course hear French. And this is something that we can work with also in new technologies and also in international projects. And I hope that you'll be there tonight at Casa Pastor, otherwise we'll be too lonely. We look forward to seeing you there in the evening. It is true that this morning we heard about the cost and the price of this type of project. Well, in this case, it's just the opposite. We are a two-people team. We've worked for almost 4 months, and we've been working with musicians too, and then adding up to 4 people, and we've invested lots of effort and time, and this experiences open up the door to innovation. And there's a certain contradiction here, because the innovation we're proposing consists of going back to one specific way of doing. By using new technologies, we are resorting to more classical styles of narration.
Vale.
That's it.
So maybe, I close the microphone as well. So thank you very much for your presentations. I mean, just it was not foreseen, but I have just a few questions, if I may ask you. because I'm curious to understand, before to be entrepreneur, let's say, you have done something else? You were employee, or and your studies, how you learn to this, the video mapping in your case, and in your case, the mobile app. You have a background, or you have decided so? What is your story? Why you came here? Because I believe it's very important to...
For me, can I answer?
Yes.
In catalán. A ver.
Sí, claro, pero no lo hablo.
No, en mi caso,
In my case, it's been extremely interesting to have this opportunity because I was working on GeoITC, geographical information systems, and I had already worked on apps with geo-localization and geo-positioning information, but I had finished my degree, I had done a master's course, and I didn't have a job. So having this project, having this grant was an excellent opportunity to start up and start doing something which was related to this. That was my experience. I have a master's course in audiovisual direction. I've also a diploma in musicology, and after the master's course I worked for television and for the cinema, and I worked... Well, my brother is a dancer and a choreographer, and my mother is an actress. Maybe because of that, I preferred to choose performances, street art, rather than television. And I like a little bit of everything: recording video clips, writing, doing production, and that you can't do on television. Everybody has got its own role, and you can't do anything outside of your role. However, video mapping allows you to do lots of different things. That's one of the reasons why.
Also, from your colleagues, I mean, you are very young. It's somehow you're using the new technology as well to express yourself. Also, the way you want to see the world, you want to change a bit and using because there is always a message, as you were saying, behind. No, in your case, if I well understood, you say I want to pass a message. I want that people learn about the story, the language, the importance. So there is also this. Or I'm wrong. There is also this driver that push you to be entrepreneurs as well. No, okay. Yeah. And in your case, so everybody has studied multimedia or comes from the multimedia background. There is nobody that is, I don't know, is accounting and then changes.
No, I can also say
I'm asking this because actually in IM project there is a component, there is a training component. So as maybe they will present during these days as well, there are training opportunities for you to participate to trainings, to workshops. So that's why I'm asking.
Bueno, yo continuaría.
I would like to build on the first question in the sense that, at least in my case, I can only speak for myself, any activity with this profile for me is a vital issue. If I'm asked, what are you? I'll answer, I'm an artist. Or what do you do? I would say, I'm an artist. And it's difficult to define what an artist is. In the vital aspect of production, new technologies are very attractive to me, especially when they are a tool to come closer to people, to have a certain social intervention, we could say. On the other hand, this grant is an incentive to say, hey, I would do this anyway if I didn't have a grant. But now that I have a grant, you're given some timelines and deadlines, and you get more motivated for that. You need to make an effort. to turn your idea into something specific. And this is a good lesson. A good lesson that you would have learned more slowly or very differently without that grant. It helps you see how you can evolve, and in this case, your background in learning is relevant. I would say that education, though, is changing in overall terms. Kids nowadays connect to a computer and they don't need to find a book on photosynthesis. They will tell you exactly on what part of the cell this takes place. Whether they do this orderly or not in an orderly way, well, I don't know. This is different. But the world is evolving so quickly from a technology point of view, and that has got a very nice and also a very dangerous social side to it. Well, that's true. But in the end, technology is technology, and ethics and criticism should be in a different place. If they can be brought together, that's fantastic. And if this type of grants can bring these two things together, that would be ideal. I don't know if I'm answering your question, but at least these are my comments about this.
Okay, so the session is closed. So just a reminder, there is the... Okay, I leave you the floor to you.
We will now meet at the entrance and we will go out and test the apps together. For the project partners, in 1 hour we need to meet again at the front door. We are going to have a meeting with Mr. Renato Dotti in the headquarters of the culture department. We are going to be walking together, so I guess nobody will get lost. So I'll see you downstairs at the entrance.